Welcome back to Ask Pastor Mike, and we've got another question here from somebody writing, if God is not evil or capable of doing evil, and God created everything, then how did evil come to exist? Basically, the theodicy question.
Right.
How's evil in the world?
Yeah, theodicy, by the way, the word that we use when we speak in terms of theology, theos, dike, it means to justify God. God, theos, dike, justice. To justify God in the light of evil. And I guess the way it's worded, which it often is, I think we need to distinguish between evil being a thing or evil being a description. Evil's not a thing. There is no such thing as evil. Things we would describe as being evil. And I think that may be helpful because everything that exists, we can say God created the things that are, but when it comes to people's decisions and things that they do, that's a description of things that fall short of the glory of God or are in stark contrast to God's glory. The good news is, I guess, if you were to go back as far as you could in terms of the perspective, evil is going to be a very short period of time. The description of things as evil, it's only going to last for a while. From the fall in Genesis 3 till the coming of the New Jerusalem in Revelation 21, that may seem like the whole of everything, but in reality, that's just going to be a small blip on the screen when it comes to the enduring righteousness that dwells in the kingdom. So we know this: evil things, things that are described as evil, are temporary, and they're used by God in His master plan for His glory. We don't say, we say rightly so that God is not evil. I think of 1 John, in Him there's no darkness in this metaphor, which by the way is a great description. Darkness is a description of the absence of light. When there is not righteousness, it's described as evil or wickedness. And in God, He's all righteous. He creates culpable, responsible, dignified human beings, and they create the rest of what we have in terms of evil, what we have in terms of sinful, rebellious decisions. Of course, natural evil we would describe as the next step in this, where God has then imposed a just consequence, which is a righteous act, in putting consequences for evil behavior. We've got moral actions that are evil, and now we've got natural consequences in the universe that are evil. But all these things are things that you can trace back to the decisions of mankind, which again, sovereignty, God in His big plan is going to use all those things for good in the end. So this has been a classic discussion. How do we see that God is still good and all-knowing and all-powerful in light of evil? But what we would say is that God, in creating human beings with the dignity of decision-making, make decisions all within the master plan of God. They are falling short of the glory of God. They're evil. They're sinful. God is going to utilize that for His own glory and plucking people out of the consequences of that, saving us. We'll be trophies of His grace. And we get to see this great sight of God we never would have seen were there no evil. Absolutely. A God who's merciful, kind, compassionate, forgiving, gracious. All of those things, come to shine against the backdrop of evil, which in the end He will put away. There'll be no more crying, mourning, tears, none of that. I've preached on this at length, and if anybody just want to go to focalpointministries.org, they could look up several messages. Even if you just search that word, theodicy, or suffering and evil, you'd find several sermons where we walk through all the steps that will describe why the Bible describes a God who is perfectly holy, how sin starts in the universe, and how eventually it'll wrap up. But I think to get the big picture of God allowing it for a time is very helpful, because in the end, there'll be no reference to evil. It'll all be behind us. It'll all be gone.
Right. Well, thanks again, Pastor Mike. And if you want to check out those resources at Focal Point, or email at us at askpastormike@compasschurch.org, we'd love to take that question and help you out. See you next time.